This podcast is sponsored by our SA Rock and Metal Fans Facebook page.
Strap yourself in because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Welcome to Talk to Trev. I'm now speaking to Monstroid, Wayne, and Andrew. How you guys doing, man?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very, very cool, man. I know nothing about Monstroid other than what I've heard on the Fangs 2 album and Plug Music Agency and Warren sent over Fall in Line. It's like, what the hell? This is foot stomping like fucking genius, man.
I'm glad you dig it, man. Thanks very much.
Dude, it's a cracker. Really, I mean, you know, what I love most about music, about everything else, is like a driving sort of like beat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get in a car and you can just go for it. And that song,
definitely.
That song fucking has. I love that, man. That is really, really, really good. So well done, guys.
Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it.
So let's.
I'm really glad you dig it.
Yeah, dude. Yes, fucking hell, my foot was going non-stop, man. That's a real good sign. It's 5 minutes and so on, which is like outside of the norm for radio play. But Shadow Beast is like 7 and a bit minutes. It's like, you guys don't give a shit, right? You just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, pretty much. We don't really have any kind of rules with any songs that we do. We don't purposefully try and make them longer. I think there's quite a drop in the middle of the song where there's a bit of a bass solo and then built up into the guitar solo. So I think that probably adds a good minute on. But yeah, just however the song sort of carves its own path, you know.
Right.
I think also we take a lot of inspiration from other bands in the genre. You know, the likes of Truck Fighters and the Queens of the Stone Age and Caius, for instance. And I think a lot of the time they do have those sort of longer driving pieces. You know, a lot of people might feel it's repetitive, but it's what we really like, and we like making that type of music. And
to
I
me,
think
that doesn't sound anything repetitive at all, then. But I mean, that's just me, you know, whatever.
Well, look, I mean, we dig the genre, so you know, we actually love those. You know, that for me, nothing gets me more pumped than hearing that galloping, even albeit repetitive. I mean, if you take a band like Sleep, for example. I mean, if you want repetitive, just put on a Sleep record, and you're going to hear the same riffs just repeated, but it's just awesome. It's heavy, it's sludgy, it's got a lot of. That's what I love about this genre, is the groove.
And
There's
by
so much
genre,
groove,
genre, we're talking about desert rock, right? Why is it being labeled desert rock?
Look, I think it stems back to where this originated, which is you know, in the desert in the States. I think that's where this was kind of born, you know, with the likes of Caius and a lot of underground desert rock bands.
Right.
So I think that's where it originated, and it kind of it's just such a fitting name though, because it just takes you to the desert for some reason. So, well, that's how I feel. And,
I mean, that's exactly it. Like I said, getting in a car and just driving and listening to this music, you know, like a long road, and it's just epic.
Yeah.
I think there was a documentary that I think Josh Homme was part of, and
yes, I've watched it. Yeah,
and they were talking about Caius and Queens of the Stone Age and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, the guy, the cowboy hat guy, that he was the recording engineer or the producer.
Dave Catching.
That's the one. There you go. You see.
Yeah, he's from Eagles of Death Metal. He's
there
the
you
guitarist
go.
for Eagles. Yeah, so they've got a studio, Rancho de la Luna. I think he's the owner of the studio.
Right.
And they, you know, I think the area is Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
Andrew knows he knows quite a lot about that. You know, he's been very close to that side. So I think that's where it kind of originated, and the term desert rock was kind of born. Other terms are stoner rock, stoner metal.
Right.
I don't know how that exactly was connected to this genre. but yeah, desert rock is for me is a fantastic genre of music, and there's some incredible bands out there. And I think that the genre has become more popular, later than other genres have.
It's like chilled out
become more
rock.
appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I love about it is it's got elements of different kinds of music. It's got a lot of blues, and I love blues, so that's a big
okay.
win. It's got a lot of blues in it. You can pick up a lot of blues in desert and stoner rock, and there's a lot of elements of metal. Heavy guitars, heavy bass. Yeah, so I mean, there's different genres that are within it, and it's what I love about the genre is there's no rules for it. You can do what you want. You can you can speed up, which is awesome, and you can go into half times, quarter times. And it just gets heavier and heavier whichever way you go. More energy faster, and heavier slower. So yeah, it's awesome. Really dig the genre.
So Wayne, how did you get those vocals, man? Because in Fall in Line, those vocals are ripping.
After the session of doing those vocals at the studio, I had laryngitis, so I had to go to the hospital.
Oh, well, so that's the one time that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did it joyfully. Yeah. So now, look, I think it's quite funny because I'm getting a lot of compliments from our vocals, which especially on this album, which is so confusing for me because I've never considered myself to be a vocalist. In fact, when we arrived for our first jam as a band, I wasn't planning on singing at the practice, so there was no one else. So I had to kind of step up, and I put a lot of work into it, and with a lot of encouragement from the band guys. I just kind of grew from there, and I'm definitely not the greatest singer by any means, but I am happy with how the vocals sounded, particularly on this record.
So you should, man. It's damn
thanks.
good.
I really appreciate that.
Damn good. And Andrew, you know Slacker either, are you?
Thank you.
It's exactly the same with Andrew. You also, same as me, came from no singing background and also just worked hard on it. And
nice.
Yeah, I love, that's one of my favorite parts of this new album is Andrew's vocals, how it complements different hooks, and it just complements so many great pieces of the music. It's really awesome.
I just love the fucking song "Fall in Line," and I really I'm like, so many people listen to one or two tracks and that's it. I'm just waiting so I can hear the whole fucking album, because I'm just praying that the rest of the album sounds like Fall in Line.
Look, let me manage your expectations. I think the energy. Yeah.
Just don't fucking let me down, man. Come on.
Yeah. No, there's definitely some other songs that have a lot of energy, but I don't know if we could quite top Fall in Line. I'll be honest. That to me, I don't think it gets more energetic than that. But we'll have to see what you think when you hear the whole album. But there's definitely some other bangers in there.
Right, so 22nd of January, the album's coming out, so we haven't got long to go.
No,
around the corner.
Right. So why no label? Why go independent? I mean, I know the answer, but I'm just making conversation so that people outside of this chat can sort of make their own assumptions or make up their own minds. But why no label?
I think if you allow me to jump in here, Wayne, I think one of the main philosophies behind the band specifically is to enjoy what we're doing, and to not necessarily make it into like a full-time like job or like grudge bet. So we're in creative control. We are doing this for ourselves primarily, and then for people who enjoy the genre. So, with that sort of songwriting freedom and ability to do with the music with what we please is definitely one of the main reasons why we're not with a label. But the other thing is just the simplicity of our whole process. We're all working people and fathers and what have you, and being able to enjoy what you do pretty much the entire time is the reason why we make music in the first place.
I think a lot of people get lost And that is what you've said there pretty much sums up the way people should be doing music. I think a lot of people just think they get in it for one thing. I'm generalizing, yeah, so don't shoot me down, people. But I think a lot of people that are musicians are thinking they can make the big time, they can do this. But a lot of people on the way to getting to that goal lose the sight of why they actually started a band or being a musician.
Yeah, I think that's very true, and I think as Wayne quite correctly said, the genre allows us to experiment. It allows us to do different things. It allows us to make a 7-minute song. We want to put a cowbell in there, we can. If we want to take it out, we
We
can.
need more
So
cowbell. We need
we
more
always need more
cowbell.
cowbell. Well, I mean, I'll manage your expectations there on the album. There's a lot more cowbell.
Yes. It'll be the
There's no
best
shortage of
fucking album
cowbell.
this year. That's what I'm convinced. It's it. That's it. Excellent. Cowbell. We need more cowbell.
Yeah,
So, okay. So 22nd January is coming out. Set to Burnt Sky. Okay. So I just want to just sort of break this down. Like 2017, you did set 1. Is this a concept?
Yeah. I think, if Wayne, if you want me to jump in, or if you want to jump in there, I think
Go for it, Brett.
the idea is that because we started, jamming together and what have you, we wanted to make a live set. And that was what set 1 was. It obviously evolved after we released it, and the live shows that we played. We added some new stuff in and what have you. But essentially, if you will, that was our first set. And, the recording process that we went through to make it and what have you is pretty much a live process. So we really only calling the set 2 Burnt Sky as kind of like a continuation for that, but the album itself is Burnt Sky, and we put a lot more craft and time into it, and spent just really enjoying the process of making an album.
Is this the reason why it took so long to record and release and master and everything like that?
Yeah, I'll let Wayne handle this one, but we wanted to make it perfect. We wanted to make, it's a piece that we're going to put out forever. So when it was something we weren't enjoying, we went back and made it better.
And once again, this ties in the fact of being independent. You can do what you do. There's no restrictions and everything like that.
Very much so. I think when we were hearing, we first had it mixed without vocals, and we were happy about them. That was like a year ago almost. And the rest of the time, so the core of the album is a live recording we did at Digital Forest Studio in Cape Town. And all of the little bits extra we've worked on to make the entire album come together. And that's including vocals and bits of percussion, keys, and what have you here and there. So
it just seems inconceivable to a lot of people, or unbelievable, that an album could take so long. Oh, you can look at bands like Metallica, take 6-7 years between albums, or however long they want to be. But I guess it's up to you to choose how you want to do it. And if you want it perfection, does perfection exist? I mean, that's a question.
No.
Sure.
All right, on to the next question.
I think, Wayne can definitely take it further here, but I think to answer your question, I think you're happy with something and you want to release it, but there's always a little bit that you could always go back and do. I think as creatives,
that's a continuous thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, with like some of the songs that are on the new album, we Wayne had written maybe 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And so coming back to something and putting it on the second record, or perfecting something that is yours, is something that you'd be proud to do when you want to put it out.
Is there I know I've asked this before to other musicians, but is there like a real sort of emotional attachment to it?
And when?
For sure. Yeah, there is an emotional. You mean to the final product?
Yeah, to the final product. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, there's definitely an emotional attachment. Yeah, look, you put a lot of work into it. The first album was a very quick process. We went and we did the live recording for both albums. Went and recorded the instruments live, and then went to work in the studio on the vocals, and did all the effects and layering and all of that. So I mean, the process was pretty quick in the first album. It's a lot. The first album's a lot more rough around the edges. There's some blemishes and stuff. Which, look, that's the other thing about stoner rock. It doesn't matter. It's a rough around the edges genre. So you get away with things like that. So it actually, in fact, adds character to this genre.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So we were happy with the album, but I think this is the thing. We've evolved a little bit as musicians since the first album. We've learned a lot having spent more time in the studio. I think just from a complexity perspective, the complexity of the songs has increased a bit. So the idea for me certainly was to put a lot more effort into the production of the second album. So that is part of the reason why it took a lot longer. Is there was a lot of production involved, picking apart things, and I think it's just as we progressed a bit as musicians, we wanted it to be a better, step up, from the previous album.
Of course.
And I think the emotional attachment really, that's where it happens, is when you're putting a lot more care into the product.
Right.
So I love both albums equally, and I'm very much emotionally attached to both. But it's just a different experience having put a lot more work into the album.
Where do you get the experiences from? That drives an album to be created, or written, the lyrics and the riffs and so on.
All right. So from a riff perspective, there's just something awesome. Like I think a lot of stoner rock and desert rock guitarists will be able to vouch for this. There's just something really awesome about riffing in heavy fuzz tones. There's just something really awesome and enjoyable about doing that. So you just get so much. It's so much fun. Like I love playing. I listen to so many different genres of music. I mean, at the moment, let's see what I've got here. I'm busy listening to Blind Faith 1970 record, and then I've got Peter Frampton here, his live album. So there's just so many. I listen to so many different genres, and there's so many things you can play. But I always, when I sit down with a guitar, I just start playing stoner rock riffs, because it's just something really special about it. It's a lot of fun to play, with the heavy fuzz tones. So I think that's just the inspiration that I get for playing for riffing.
Right.
And it's just a lot of fun pumping out desert rock riffs. It's just something awesome about it. If you put a blues riff together, it's cool and everything. But when you get a rocking stoner rock or desert rock riff, it just makes you happier.
Yeah.
To put it simply, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to try and listen to more desert rock, stoner rock. That's for sure. Because if it's like this, then I'm going to be very happy.
For sure. Like you once you go down that rabbit hole, for me, I've been in it for a long time, and I think I've enjoyed getting into this genre more than any other genre.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to give it a go. So who came up with the name Monstroid? How
it's a
fuck
good
did
thing
you come
Larry,
up with the name?
It's a good thing Larry's not on the call, because the discussion may have gotten heated. Because he's stuck his flag in the ground there.
Hang on now. Larry's the bassist. Larry's the bassist. Yeah, always in the background somewhere chirping, eh?
Yeah, that's Larry. Yeah. So,
no offense, Larry. I don't know you for shit, but hey, I know bassists.
We all love you, Larry. What happened was I think I came up with something about asteroid. Sure. Okay, so I came up with Mega Monster and Wastroid, which is actually a Fu Manchu song.
Right.
It's an instrumental song that Andrew and I have loved for years. And I recommended both those names for band names, and Larry took the two and merged them. So technically, we give it to Larry.
You got to give the bassist a bone every now and then, man.
We'll throw him a bone here.
Yeah, there you go. Well done, Larry.
Yeah.
Good job. Well done. Okay, so what is the main influences for Monstroid?
Sure, main influences. Oh, you mean other bands?
Yeah.
Well, without a doubt, first and foremost is Fu Manchu.
Right.
If you want to get into the stoner rock genre and the desert rock genre,
Is that where I got to start, right?
You go straight to. You can go back further and check out other Kif bands like Caius and Queens of the Stone. But if you really want to, if you want to pick the low hanging fruit, just go straight to Fu Manchu.
The low hanging fruit. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I love that band. That's my biggest inspiration for sure. And I would probably say it's Andrew's as well. Andrew.
Yeah, that and Queens and Caius and Truck Fighters and like the usual suspects of the genre. I think Fu Manchu's riffs and fuzz style and what have you was probably our biggest thing, Wayne? 2002's California Crossing. What an album!
California Crossing. Just go straight to that album. That's,
done.
Yeah, you'll love it. So I think Fu Manchu, Caius, and for me, another band that really influenced me a lot was Spiritual Beggars, which is actually the lead guitarist of Arch Enemy's stoner rock band.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, check that out as well.
Alrighty,
A little bit darker, a little bit darker and more technical guitaring, but incredible, really incredible band.
Okay, so let's get back to 2021 now, because fuck 2020. Let's just avoid that year. Let's just go straight to 2021 and say what's going to be happening for Monstroid in 2021. Other than an album, 22nd of January. People keep an eye out on your digital platforms.
Yeah, look, Andrew's the one that's got all the tricks up his sleeve here. Andrew's great at planning this kind of stuff for the band, so I'll hand it over to him. But from my side, I don't think there's any plan. We want to release the album and make some videos and stuff like that. But we're not putting any pressure on ourselves. We just want to enjoy this album, put it out there, maybe play a couple of gigs and see what happens. We don't expect anything dazzling from our efforts with this album. We just want it to be enjoyed, and we don't expect it to be enjoyed by a lot of people either. We know the genre is small, especially in this country. A lot of our listeners are actually European and American, so we're not expecting anything dazzling to happen.
Would there be a hope at some point to go overseas?
I just don't look. I don't know how. Yes, it's obviously an awesome thought, but it's so difficult. It's like herding cats to have a practice with us. To go on tour. Like years ago, of course, I would be there in a flash. But these days, it's more about the music.
Right.
We've got families, we've got children, we've got careers and businesses and stuff like that. So the idea of going to play overseas, wow, I couldn't dream of anything better. But realistically, it's something that we'll have to talk about and think about.
Particularly in these times as well.
Yeah, these times. That's why we don't have any high expectations for this year because of this pandemic. We can't expect people to show up at shows and things like that. So there's no rules to this year. We just want to put the album out there. Fortunately, we've got all these great platforms where we can reach people, and if it's over the internet, we're quite happy with it. It doesn't have to be gigs per se.
Yeah.
Gigs are awesome. They're a lot of fun, but we've got nothing to prove, really. We don't have anything to prove. That's how this band's always been. We've had nothing to prove. We just want to make music that we like, and we know that there'll be other people that'll dig it as well.
Just take it in your stride, man. That's it.
Yeah, just take it in our stride. That's how we've always been. So we haven't been on a mission to try and
Conquer the
make
world.
gigs happen. Yeah, no, yeah. So I mean, in these last few years, we haven't been on a mission to arrange gigs and all of that, and we just it needs to just happen organically and flow.
Absolutely.
And fortunately, Andrew's a wizard, with videos and releasing stuff online. Andrew's it's a part of our band that I really love, is how Andrew gets us out there, and puts the music videos together, manages our social media. It's really that brings me a lot of joy. How we are connected with people and how our music is presented, basically.
Right.
So we get a lot of joy out of that, So if we don't go and play massive gigs and massive concerts and things like that, and festivals,
whatever.
we don't really don't have a problem with that. If as long as we're making music that we love and enjoy, and other people are enjoying it, then that's good enough for us.
Andrew, what is the desert rock survival to COVID?
More desert rock.
That's a pretty good.
That's pretty much
seriously.
yeah.
I mean, I was watching. I don't know if you know Yawning Man and the California Desert Wizards Association. They've been streaming stuff all year. We've had some of the most amazing music coming out of 2020.
Awesome. Excellent.
It's just been fantastic. And I mean, as Wayne says, part of the whole process of creating the music is creating the stuff around it. And I'm an art director in the advertising agency world, and I don't get to have this type of fun with anything. And the best part about it is I get to do it with my mates.
Yeah.
And it's for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's better than that?
There's not a lot of things better, I can guarantee you.
Yeah.
Well, just at least from a creative platform point of view.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I mean,
I should actually put you in touch with David Owens of Lithium fame and so on. He's a graphic designer, and he might be on the prowl for work.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, the whole thing is that that's exactly how we've been doing this. Our music videos, our content and what have you, we try and work with our friends and family.
Absolutely.
A lot of our friends and family have made the stuff we've released possible.
Yeah.
From shooting stuff in Namibia to shooting stuff in Clan William and what have you.
You got to use what you can, not use and abuse, but with the help of friends and family. It's the way to go, man.
Yeah, and I mean that's been fantastic. It really has. I think we're very lucky to also, a lot of our friends believe in us, so it's not a big issue for them to want to help us either.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the buy-in is that they get to do something cool too.
Yeah.
And it might not be the world's best content, but you know what? It's made with love and enjoyment.
There's something about creativity that just inspires and for me it just gets me going, man. Anything creative like this and music, anything music related, it gets me going.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing, and I mean we've been watching as many live streamers as possible. You see what the other guys are doing, and well, we can do this, we can do it a bit differently, or what have you. And I mean, there's so many tools for us to use now, where we can put our stuff out there. That it's not about the commercial success.
Yeah,
that's the incidental part. It's about the people, it's about the people listening, and if
Yeah.
And again, if it's just me, that's fine too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're fast approaching the end of our time slot now. So Wayne, let's get your rig rundown.
Okay, cool. So I play Gibson guitar, Flying V, humbuckers.
Nice. Is that a typical desert rock kind of guitar, Flying V?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely Gibson guitars with humbuckers are very popular for this. Yeah, that's the kind of sound you want. I've gone through various guitars, and I've just found the Flying V for me is the most comfortable and to play, and the sound that it gives me. I actually took humbuckers out of a previous guitar that I had and put them in the B. So I've got my perfect setup from a guitar perspective. Orange amps, also very popular for this genre.
Yeah.
So I play orange, and then I'm quite a pedal junkie. I really dig pedals, so I've got I've got a photo of it here, and I'll give you a very, very quick. I'll go into from a tuner. Okay, from a tuner into a orange fuzz pedal, into a hyper fuzz boss, into a Keeley compressor, into a Dunlop wah. Then I'll go into a tube screamer, Ibanez tube screamer. Then I'll go into an NMXR distortion pedal. Then I'll go into a drop pedal. Then I'll go into a noise gate. Then I'll go into a booster, an octave pedal, a phaser, a soul vibe, BBE soul vibe rotary.
Surely that's the end. Come on.
And I'll go into a T-Rex phaser and chorus pedal. Then I'll go into a delay pedal. Then I'll go into a tremolo pedal. Then I'll go into a reverb pedal. So I'll go into 17 pedals on my pedal board.
How the hell do you cart that shit around with you? That's ridiculous. You need your own power
actually,
generator for that.
Yeah, and then there's the two power supplies that are underneath some of the pedals. It's amazing how you can get carried away. The first album that we recorded, I had about 6 pedals, and probably used 3 of them. So yeah, I just got. I really just
a few.
I fell down that rabbit hole after the first album roundabout then, and just went on a journey of the sonic journey, and it really was a great ride.
It really bankrupt you. Never mind a great ride.
Yeah. No, I managed to find all these pedals secondhand, most of them secondhand. So yeah. So and
how many
I mean,
feet do you have? Gee.
Yeah, you got to tap dance around, and I have to sing as well, so it can get tricky.
Andrew, what's your rig rundown, man? Let's have it.
Oh, geez, I'm very much more simple. I have 2 pedals, a Big Muff Pi and a distortion overdrive, and I play rhythm on a Ibanez Sound Gear bass most of the time, which is just for that extra truck fighter style fuzz like overdrive. So I don't play all of the time.
That low end rhythm.
Yeah,
Low
and then
rhythm. I like that.
yeah, and then I'm on percussion with tambo and fall in line and a cowbell, and on the album I think
more cowbell, yeah.
Yeah, so for the album we were like, cool, here everyone gets to go sort of thing, but normally when we play live on Fall in Line, I don't actually play guitar, I just do percussion and vocals with Wayne.
Nice.
You got to tell him about the soul pole, man.
The soul pole. So yeah, Wayne had this idea when we were going. It was like, let's give you a cowbell and a whole lot of different percussion that you can put in front of you. And when we play live, you can play on the soul pole, and the soul pole holds the cowbell, it holds the tambourine, it holds the vibroslap and some other shakers, and then it gets a little tricky sometimes, but I move between those things on the guitar depending on the song, and mid-song maybe.
There must be a visual feast for people coming to your show to see all this happening.
Also, I think they must look at us a bit strangely sometimes too. What are these guys doing?
Well, I hope for one day that I'll be able to get to see you guys live, and we're out of time now. So, gents, thank you so much for popping in and having a chat, man. 22nd of January 2021, the new album Set to Burn Sky is coming out on all digital platforms. So people keep your eyes on all the DSPs. Guys, Wayne, Andrew, thank you very much, man. I love Fall in Line, love Shadow Beast, Fall in Line. Oh, man, that is...
Thank you.
Damn, that's going to go on my Spotify playlist as soon as it's out on the 22nd of Jan.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Alrighty, guys.
Thank you.
Keep safe
Much
and
appreciated.
keep well, man.
All the best. Cheers, man. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.